on the first run through.
The courtyard, I thought
There
it
we
was
go.
the graveyard because there's graves.
The signal, alrighty. I said it.
Hi, my name is Wacky Wolf and I'm here to correct TikTak's crappy English because he sucks at English. If you don't know who I am, check the Dirge HA leaderboard and you'll know who I am. TikTak, who on earth are you?
One of the runners. I will be very bad. Back to Azuma.
Okay, so yeah, welcome everyone for this very first stream of the Team ICO Speedruns channel. We're gonna do a big race with 4 players running ICO 80%. And guys, whenever you're ready, we can start with the timer. The only thing is that I should, yeah. You can give the signal to start, Wacky, and I'll just focus on what I see on your streams to start the timer, in order to start it in the correct moment, because it would make a delay if I start in the voice chat. Anyway, so Wacky, all the runners, you're ready?
I want to say TikTak, you need to stop squeaking your chair when other people are talking. That is very rude of you.
I know.
I could barely hear Azuma because you were squeakers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, note to runners, just because if you're sitting on the title screen for too long, it might go right back into the cutscene. So I'm waiting at the continue screen.
Yep,
Same.
that's right.
All right, so we should do this quickly. All right, is everyone
Yes.
ready?
Yeah.
Almost. Yes.
No.
Ah.
Wait on Pete.
And
Mentally, no.
Why don't we all just wait for everyone to be on the cutscene and then you guys can click
Nah,
out?
like it's fine. Just calm down.
You sure? Because Peter isn't ready yet.
Peter
Well,
isn't even running.
I'm here waiting.
Oh.
Ozma, you're switching me over to commentary
he-
as soon as it
he-
starts, so I can see the sync.
You have the role. You can even go there right now.
Just
Is
to be
he
sure,
just new
guys.
to Brown eBay?
Just to be sure, guys, who's streaming only the sound of the game? JK, I can take your sound.
Sancho.
Or Sancho? Yeah. Okay.
I'm streaming sound and
me.
my voice.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Would you rather me not stream my voice? I can cut my voice out.
As always, I just need one runner with only the sound of the
I mean,
game.
I'm
and that's
streaming
it.
just the game.
Okay, perfect. It's done. I'm
Once
ready.
again.
Yeah, I just want to be able to say hi if people in my chat show up.
Makes sense.
Now you're
so
gonna have the gameplay going in commentary, right? When I switch over to that.
Yeah, don't worry about this.
As I will stream it
Thanks,
to you, so we have it
Pan.
in real time.
For the good luck.
All right. So,
Mikey, count down.
All right, you ready, guys? We're gonna do it on go, okay?
Okay.
3, 2,
What?
Wait,
What?
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 You do it.
I was about
Okay.
to. You interrupted me.
good luck, everyone.
Oh.
I'm switching to commentary. All right. So we are just gonna check the streams, because if we do it on the countdown, then by the end we will have a certain delay. So it seems good. Everyone started? It seems so. Yeah.
Looks like Sancho is a little behind with delay.
Yeah. I'll try to be sure for everyone here. Up. JK sound should be all right. We just need to set up a little bit in the beginning and it will be all right. Check, TikTak. Think it's all right. Can I play pause like this? Yeah, okay, good. And oh yeah, sure, I need to share the screen. Tuk. Can you see that correctly?
Hold on. Yep, okay. Let me just enlarge it a little bit.
All right. So I'm gonna be sure everyone is actualized. This is the very beginning, so ICO is just like walking, climbing to the top of this room to get Yorda.
The main speed tech that's going on right now, if you've never seen an eco speedrun, is you're going to see them shouting a lot or hear them, depending on whose stream that you're hearing. And if you watch Eco's feet, anytime they shout, he picks up a little bit of speed. So in the starting section, it's actually really important that they're constantly shouting because it might seem minimal, but it adds up over the course of the run if you're constantly shouting whenever you have the opportunity. Because there are many times where you actually don't want to be calling Yorda, but this is one of the instances where it's kind of annoying for people that are, lurking in eco streams trying to sleep because you hear eco shouting every 3 seconds.
Yeah, most of the viewers would like, eco speedrun. Yeah, let's chill out and just rest a bit. No, you can't. No, even even Shadow of the Colossus with the fights and the music can be calmer. This young little boy is like shouting so much.
And there's a lot of tech in this game. Now, this is, we should say, the PlayStation 3 version, which means that if you've ever watched the PAL speedruns, those are filled with glitches with the super jump, because when the game runs at 50 hertz, you can actually do a jump and swords stick swing immediately after, and you'll sort of gain extra distance and height. And that's exploited in the PAL run to get places that you're definitely not supposed to be in ahead of time. It actually skips like half the game. But since this is the PlayStation 3 version, we're going to be seeing pretty much 98% of the game. There's a couple of little things here and there that they skip, but nothing major like in the PAL version. And if your streams are hitching a little bit here, how does it look on your end?
It's the same. I'm gonna try to figure out something in 1 second.
So the first make or break for the run in terms of time loss is coming up here for everybody, and that's going to be the first shadow fight. The first shadow fight, they want to grab the stick as quickly as possible, and the most optimal thing that they can do is to do 2 jumping swings towards the shadow. That'll close the most distance between them. However, there's a little bit of RNG involved with the shadow fight because he can decide to dip down, avoid Eco's sword swings, and that's when things get a little rocky. So let's watch what goes on with Panda here. Let's see how he deals with this. 1 leaping slash gets the shadow down, and he recedes into the ground. But if you do a triple swing, the 3rd swing will actually hit the shadow out of the crouch position. So now we're coming up into a little bit of a relaxed period here after the first shadow encounter. They're going to be doing a little bit of Yorda manipulation here. So let's focus on TikTak's stream since he is ever so slightly ahead by a couple seconds here. And in case you're wondering, no, there is no way to skip this bridge collapse scene. People have tried many ways, even on PAL.
Yeah.
If you try doing the super jump, you still cannot avoid this cutscene.
Yeah, because and how does it work? Because it's not something on the ground that you cross. It's.
I would imagine it's some kind of invisible trigger.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you cross that invisible barrier, they're just like, all right, cue the cutscene, and Yorda drops. All right, so coming into this room here, you're going to notice that the runners are going to leave Yorda at the entrance. They're not going to call her. They're specifically going to just leave her at the start. And that's something that manipulates her movement during cutscenes. So watch TikTak and Panda. They're pretty much on sync here. They push the box to solve this puzzle, and then they're going to go to a staircase to the right, and then they call Yorda right now, so that way she's actually moving during this cutscene of the shadow spawn.
Yeah. All right.
Streams seem to be running a little bit better now, by the way. One of my favorite rooms in the game right here. It's just such a beautiful staircase with the light coming through. I mean, remember for PlayStation 2, the way this game's handling camera angles, I mean, this was mind-blowing.
And light. I remember the bloom effect was very important in Shadow of the Colossus, but already in ICO a lot. The bloom effect for the light, like the radiance, I don't know if you call it that way in English, but some aspects of the light modelization were just really crazy and very innovative for the PS2 hardware.
Now we're coming up onto what is probably the most major skip in the PS3 version of the run, where they're skipping the trolley scene. Normally you'd have to bring Yorda on the trolley and, you know, go through a couple puzzles with her, but by doing the specific routing that they're doing here, it's actually going to skip that puzzle entirely. And if you watch Panda's screen right now, you can see he's jumping up a staircase. That's another speed tech in ICO, where it's actually faster to jump up the stairs rather than normally walk up or shout while running up. Well, depending on the staircase. And here, this is a good example on while they're running on the bridge, the train tracks here. The camera in ICO can be very unwieldy, so they're always fighting the camera movement. So when you see this game doing sweeping camera motions, and in some cases completely like flipping the camera mid-transition, the runners are fighting with their camera and their joysticks. They're constantly adapting their movement to the camera of this game.
Yeah.
So I want to see who's going for the risky jump here. Brand New does not go for the risky jump onto that railing there. That is a very minor time save. It'll save you like 2 seconds. Let's see if TikTak or Panda go for it. If they angle their jump just right, they will skip about 1 or 2 scooches to the right. Panda does not get a TikTak either. I do not blame them, because that is a very risky jump. So this railing that they're shimmying across, you can actually take a specific angle to jump a little bit further and reach a little bit further on that pole than you normally would be able to get to. And Brand New taking it very cautiously across that crane right there. That's a very notorious camera swing. So watch TikTak and Panda. This is really good because they're synced up at the moment. You're going to see how they approach this camera swing. Panda, very cautious. Actually holding down on the D-pad. TikTak as well. Very cautious on that crane swing. Because if you take that jump without waiting for that camera to align and you don't adjust accordingly, you will just miss and die, and it's very risky for a race.
Okay, just for the chat, people, I'll try to do a dual stream on YouTube so that if anyone has problems on Twitch, you can get the chat in pop-out. Maybe someone can get the pop-out chat link in the settings on Twitch, and I'll give you the link for YouTube in like 1 minute.
So something of note here as well, which is quite impressive, is that this is JAIKHAY's first speedrun attempt of this full version of the game. He's done a few attempts on the PAL version, which is notably different, as we discussed earlier. So he's sort of the dark horse of this race, but who knows, you know, if the other runners are taking risks trying to be too flashy, they might die. JAIKHAY might actually still have a shot at keeping up with them. So it's also a great example if anybody's interested in speedrunning ICO. You know, this just shows that doing your first full run of the game during a race, it's possible. So if you want to join us, we got that speedrun Discord. You can join in there. Everybody's friendly. They'll help you get into the game. There's a lot of resources. There's tutorials as well on the speedrun.com page put up by SanCHOPANDA. So it's very accessible to get into ICO speedrunning, no matter which version you want to play. Even if you want to get into the US PS2 version, which we'll discuss over the run, actually has some differences between the PAL and PS3 release compared to North American PS2. All right, so Brand New, Sancho, and TikTak are all in the chandelier room here. Nothing too risky. The thing that they want to be looking out for here is just getting an optimal jump onto the top of the chandelier. Make sure that they get a nice swipe on that the second that they land, because if you don't, the camera gets a little unwieldy. TikTak gets it on the second swing, and Panda gets it on the first jump and swing. Now, Brand New just did it, but I want you to pay attention to either TikTak or Panda here. They're going to do a little bit of a fall manipulation to avoid having to climb down the stairs here. So what they're going to do is they're going to approach this ledge. Once they start stumbling, right on cue, they mash triangle, and then they also then start mashing X, and Panda got it a little bit more optimally. You see there, it's a good example. TikTak actually hit that ledge on that door. That's what they're trying to avoid by doing that, and Panda got it. So that just shows you the time save, which is several seconds, quite large, to get that fall manipulation. And now the dreaded chandelier toss. Watch Panda's screen. Let's see if he's good. No, Panda chickening out, talking about doing a fancy bomb throw where you would you can throw the bomb into the wall and it bounces off the chandelier into the peg of the bridge. But taking the safe route, don't blame him. Actually looks like TikTak got it as well, pulling out a little bit ahead. And when they're running down this bridge here, they actually want to stay to the left side, because if you stay on the right side, Yorda is more prone to losing her grip on your hand, and if you lose your grip on Yorda's hand here, specifically when you're coming down this bridge, she can get grabbed by shadows, and that could be pretty dangerous. JK not too far behind. All it'll take is a mistake from one of the other runners for JK to catch up. Gonna be interested to see how he handles the bomb toss. And also of note, for a little bit of safety in this run, is that you don't have to specifically take a save couch in order to reload a save. Anytime they hit one of these doors, I call them Yorda doors, the lightning doors, that acts as a soft sort of checkpoint.
And the way you call it, it allows us to talk about something very interesting Ueda does and did a lot in his game design, like changing elementary aspects of games in general, like I don't know, life bar or key. And here, for example, Yorda is a key and is also the life bar of the player somehow. That's something in his design we will see a lot within this minimalism. He tried to reduce some mechanics to characters or things like this. So here Yorda is a good aspect of it, as Trico or the Colossi. For example, in Shadow of the Colossus, the Colossi are like levels. It's a level design in the end. Anyway, just wanted to mention that as you were talking about Yorda doors. It's like she's the key of those doors. So
yeah, that's a good interpretation of it, actually. The runners here are just finishing up the dreaded torch pulling. Now, this might look simple, but if you've ever played this game, especially if you've tried running it, you know how torturous these things can be. Specifically getting the angles that you need and having ICO actually grab it, he can miss the input a lot and then pull it the correct direction. It's known as one of the subtly most difficult parts of the run to get most optimal. And JK also took the kamikaze approach to the chandelier bomb toss. Instead of throwing the bomb, he just took it and walked it right into the pole, choosing to explode, which is a safe option, actually, if you don't want to risk throwing it. Don't blame him whatsoever. Brand new also, but a little bit of a lead here. But like I said, any of that can change, especially because we are about to approach the graveyard section. So if you'll want to watch Brand New's screen, we're about to enter one of the most clench-worthy moments of the run here. This is a make or break for the runners. They can gain or lose a ton of time here and even die and potentially have to reload one of those checkpoints. So what Brand New is doing here is leaving Yorda on those steps. If she cooperates, she'll stand still and she won't move, which will help a little bit and save a bit of time. And this is known as graveyard skip. What they're essentially going to be trying to do here is avoid fighting all of the shadows that would spawn out in the graveyard. And to do this, they need very precise movement, they need a little bit of luck on their side, and they need a lot of skill to fend off the shadows as they're going to try and descend on Yorda. So what we're doing now is, Brand New is just getting that one box into position. You're probably like, wait, it looks like he pulled it the long way, but that's done on purpose. And you'll see why, because it allows us to push the other box a little bit faster. Calling Yorda down spawns the shadows. We actually use Yorda as a box and stand her on that switch, which is not easy to do. That is very easy to miss. Oh, and Brand New exiting back out. Okay, so here's where I said things can be push or pull. He's going to have to fend off against all these shadows, and this is going to lose a lot of time here. This is probably going to lose about 1.5 minutes, depending on if the shadows escape with Yorda. Let's see how Panda does. Panda calling Yorda down. Shadow spawn. Let's see if he gets the drop with Yorda on the switch. Good placement. And he's in. So now he has to be very quickly here. Just because he gets in here doesn't mean that it's a guaranteed safe route through here. She can get captured while he's in this room here, and then he's going to have to take backup strats. And you can just see how much time Brand New is wasting here from that missed graveyard skip. So this is Panda, TikTak, and JK's chance to come back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
TikTak getting the optimal Yorda placement as well. So watch Panda's screen here, bottom right. Let's see how he handles Yorda. If she comes to him, she does come to him. That is the thing that you want to see. Hit that shadow, get her off Yorda. Missing a couple swings there. You cannot push the block while there's a shadow or Yorda standing in front of the block. Panda, pretty good so far. If it were me, yep, stop right there and knock the shadows off Yorda. Keep pulling her towards the box. Sometimes you could actually get Yorda to climb on that box and pull the box while she's standing on top of it. Oh, but they're escaping with Yorda. Panda missing a very good graveyard skip. So what he's going to do now is just finish pushing the block, and he's going to have to go rescue Yorda. Let's see how TikTak is handling this as well. It looks like Yorda did get captured. So far, 3 out of the 4 runners having to deal with unfortunate graveyard skips. Now, they can bring her to one of 2 pools. They can bring her to the pool in the top of the stairs, which is the case for TikTak and Panda, or they can bring her to a pool, which is a little bit more uncommon, to the right side of the staircase, which is a little dangerous because they tend to crowd around it, and it's a very tight corridor.
All right. Whew. Took me some time, but I think we should be technically all right since now. Thanks for providing such a great commentary. I was kind of focused on it, but yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So now the stream is an option on YouTube if you are having any issues with Twitch.
Yeah,
the links are in
you
the
should
Twitch
have
chat.
everything. You can copy and paste the message on the chat if necessary for someone. And we got this little music in a speedrun. Super cool. I'm so happy we got JK's sound because he's playing on PS2. He decided of some spots to make some save, and we actually can hear that music even if any category of any speedrun in ICO you never hear that one. What's the name? I don't remember. Save? No?
I think it's just called Save, yeah.
Save, yeah.
So now we see Brand New, who had a pretty commanding lead for a while, is now behind both TikTak and Panda because of Graveyard. And JK also working on his Graveyard skip right now, so never count out. You know, JK is first run, and he's pretty he's pretty close to the other runners. Now, if you're paying attention here, I'll actually mention it again when Brand New reaches this point because it's a little late. But TikTak and Panda are doing what is known as Darkroom skip, but I will explain that when Brand New gets to that point. It's a way to avoid fighting the shadows, and you'll kind of see they're falling down there on Panda's screen, and they're going to be falling down on TikTak's screen, but I will explain that once Brand New gets to this point. Make it just a little bit easier to understand. It's not 100% consistent, but it's near 100% consistent. Sometimes Yorda just decides to kind of derp out and not cooperate, but usually it's a pretty safe skip. While the other runners are kind of doing one of my favorite parts of the game, the windmill section, which is, you know, the moment when I played the demo for ICO, this was part of the demo.
Yeah.
This is when I fell in love with ICO. Ozma, when did you realize that you just loved ICO? What room was it? When was it in the game?
When I was already fascinated by the man behind Shadow of the Colossus, the biggest game of my life, I would say. Maybe one, even any... Well, let's not talk about considering a video game as art, yes or no, but I did that very early, and as a piece of art, Shadow of the Colossus is just one of the most impactful thing I've lived. And so yeah, but basically I had some pictures of ICO in my memory, because that demo you are mentioning, I was so young in 2001, I don't remember, I was like less than 10. Discovered that crazy ambience and the first steps into strange world, but actually I gotta admit my first memories of ICO were like very dark and cryptic and like you know, memories from when you were very young. But yeah, to answer your question, it came pretty fast, considering those games as just masterpieces I truly love. They made me as a player and as a person, so...
Yeah, ICO for me is very influential on my taste in games these days, but okay, so we're coming up now. Let's see how JK handles this Darkroom skip. It's going to be interesting to see, because this is normally something that you skip in the PAL version. In PAL, which JK has a lot of experience with, you actually just super jump up the ledge on the bottom, and you don't have to worry about doing this Yorda manipulation and pulling her up the ledge. As the other runners here are finishing the windmill section, nothing too crazy going on in the windmill. You pretty much just want to get the optimal blade jump, which I missed in my most recent PB of this game. It's actually the timing on that is a little tricky sometimes, but yeah, it's just pretty standard play through the windmill. And TikTak is actually the first one to the sewer section, which is known as sewer skip. Now, what you're going to see the runners doing, Panda as well, they bring Yorda into a very specific position, and it is quite specific. You can come up a little bit short, and this is to prevent the shadows from noticing Yorda in a timely fashion. So the idea is the shadow spawn, they don't see Yorda because she's hidden underneath this little overhang. and you want to run really quickly into the sewers, as TikTak is doing here in your top right of the screen. You stand on the switch, and if you can get outside to Yorda quick enough and call her inside before that gate closes, you can do a sewer skip, which saves quite a bit of time. It looks like he's got a good setup. She's inside. He needs to get back out and prevent the shadow from getting in. Nice.
Perfect.
Very nice. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Let's see how Panda fares.
And prevent the shadow from getting in, because he can come in and fly in the little hole in the ceiling with Yorda. Yeah, he can.
Yep. Well, no, they can't. They can come through the cage door on the bottom, so sometimes they have to do a little bit of defending to prevent that from happening. Right. But they cannot, from what I've seen, they can't enter this top grate. I've never seen that before. They just kind of stand up top. Panda had to do a little bit of defensive work because the shadows can knock you down as you're trying to climb the chain. So let's see how Brand New fares here. If they get 3 for 3 on this, that'll be very impressive, because this is a very tricky and inconsistent skip. Let's see. Get Yorda in. Can he get back out? Nice. Very nice. Okay. Let's see how JK does, because that is also a trick in the PAL version of this game. It's pretty much the exact same. There's nothing different about it. So it'd be awesome to see all 4 runners get that really tricky skip.
This is awesome. Watching the runners practicing, I think most of the people on the chat have already seen how this part can fail, and just really crazy. We saw that 3 times in a row, maybe 4. Perfect.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Anybody that runs this game or has watched a lot of runs of it, you can see runners reset there all the time, because even when you feel like you have optimal position, Yorda can get scared, she can move out of position, the shadows can just, kind of RNG their way towards the cage door. So that was really good for all 3, potentially 4 runners. Now we're approaching Stone Pillar. This is a pretty relaxed section for the most part. They're just going to be looking for optimal jumps here. If you look at Panda's screen, we're going to see actually how he approaches these ledges. So he does 2 quick hops up. Ooh, almost falling off there. Gets a really nice grab on that ledge after those 2 jumps. That ledge grab is actually pretty finicky. If you try and grab that in the wrong position, you'll actually just whiff the ledge entirely. Now here's another make or break section of the run coming up here. It's going to be another shadow fight. So they're going to pull this box down and push it, and then it's going to spawn 3 shadows, a set of 2, and then a 3rd one afterwards. So this can go really wrong. What they want to do is they want to set it up so that they hit the shadows as soon as they spawn and push them into the corner of the box between the wall. Panda, shadows separating a little bit for Panda here. TikTak also getting knocked down by the shadow, but as long as they keep chaining their hits, it'll kind of stun the shadows. Okay, so the 2 shadows down for both runners, now the 3rd shadow. TikTak having to deal with it a little bit all over the place here. Let's see if Panda can get that optimal corner placement. Okay, nice. Okay, now the shadow is cornered against that box, so that is what you want to aim to do. Both runners nearly synced up. TikTak here. Yep, needs to pull that box. Pretty much almost synced. I think Panda's a little bit behind on the stream, perhaps by a few seconds, so this is still pretty close here. And Brand New, also getting a good first phase shadow fight. Let's see how he handles the 3rd one. Nice. Getting that 3-hit combo. Some runners approach fighting those shadows there with mashing the attack button, which does a 3-hit combo. And some runners will sort of just chain single swings, which gives you a little bit more movement control. Let's see how JK does here on the sewer skip. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Looks like a shadow landed and is going for Yorda. Okay, he's going to have to take the safe back up. This is fine.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's still at... Wow, that was very clutch by JK. Very, very clutch. So this is a little bit of a safe backup here. He's going to have to hit the other switch and kind of do this puzzle as intended, but that was very nice. Getting Yorda through that gate does save him quite a bit of time.
Wow, did you see that camera he just had? It was a strange camera. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
For JK?
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets a little finicky as you're trying to move through there, because what actually happens is when you press that switch, it will sort of force your camera to view the door, the other gate as it opens. So he was kind of battling that. Yeah, speedrunning ICO is a battle of the camera many times.
Yeah, most of Ueda games, I think, Trico and his very small corridors, and Shadow of the Colossus with the adaptive camera, depending on the Colossi moves. and with the camera is quite something as a game design point of view. Yeah, it's a major aspect.
Now, something that we did miss here for TikTak, Panda, and Brand New is you might have been noticing they were doing this very curious jump off of that sort of overhang onto a chain by holding left on the D-pad and jumping at a very specific angle. ICO will sort of magnetize himself to that chain. Now, why do I say magnetize? Because I was doing some testing and accidentally found by taking a different jump angle to that chain that as ICO is falling there, he actually will warp and magnetize himself to that chain from like 20 feet away. So now we understand what is happening when they do that jump and it appears like the camera shifts mid-jump. He's actually warping to the chain, which is why that jump is somewhat forgiving, even though it appears like you're going to miss it. So maybe JK, I don't know if he's practiced it at all, because that is definitely not something you do in the PAL version. But if you go back and watch this, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, time for a troll Yorda moment. This is the part where the runners are going to be calling Yorda onto that platform. Sometimes she cooperates and she's already on the platform, but even on world record attempts, you still have to check and make sure that she is there. So watch TikTak checking. She was not on the platform, so I got to wait for her to move.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a typical IA weird-esque moment again, with a Trico, same kind of things happening.
Let's see if Brand New here gets the pool skip, as I like to call it. So what that is, if the runners quickly, as soon as this cutscene is over where Yorda is on the platform and it moves, you're going to notice they take 2 steps forward, they jump, they hit the chain at a very specific spot, which allows them to fall from that chain by jumping off of it and not dying from the fall damage. So let's see if Brand New gets the pool skip, which essentially means rescuing Yorda before the shadows bring her into the pool. So he jumps, hits the wall, takes a fall on his butt, but doesn't die. A little bit of a hang up there on that jump, and hits the shadow, so that is pool skip.
Perfect.
Saves a few seconds. JK also dealing with the shadow fight now. Normally this is something that you do not do in PAL, so let's see how he handles the 3rd shadow spawn. Nice hit into the corner there. Very nice. Makes it look like he's been doing this. Makes it look like this is definitely not his first run. Very impressive. The fact that he's just now getting to the midpoint of Stone Pillar is very impressive. He's kind of keeping up.
He was just doing the same thing in The Last Guardian. Actually, he worked on those 2 speedruns, expanding what he knows of Shadow of the Colossus to the other 2 games. But wow, this is really crazy what JK is doing those days, because yeah, he has such a level on both the 3 games and in particular ICO here today. That's really awesome. Gonna
so
grab
all
something
3
to drink.
sorry,
Sure. Sorry, 10 seconds.
Yeah. So all 3 runners now, Brand New, Pancha, and TikTak are all now entering East Arena, which has a really make or break shadow fight skip, which they're going to be approaching really soon. So for the commentary on this, I'm going to draw your attention to the bottom right corner of the screen for Panda. The first thing is there's a 4th shadow fight that you must deal with here, which normally just involves backing that shadow into the corner of the couch here. Takes 11 hits to take that shadow down. Interesting note is in the US, PS2 version specifically, all shadows take 14 hits to kill. And spider shadows are actually aggressive, as they are not aggressive in any other version of the game. One of the many differences between the US PS2 version.
I didn't know that. This is absolutely crazy. Wow.
Yeah. I'll try and cover some more of those differences later when we have a little bit of downtime.
Yeah, sure.
In the tense parts. So Panda tried to go for a jump there where you can jump straight onto that pillar that he climbed up on. Unfortunately, it did not work out. Okay, here's the tense moment. You need to bring Yorda to this ladder and hope that she climbs. Okay, good.
Oh.
She's she's climbing. Let's see if we can get this unfrozen. There we go. Nice.
On my seat. Yeah, JK is having some problems here, or maybe me. You can hear me correctly? No. Okay, it's back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, maybe a little drop. I'll just refresh for everyone. Hope we didn't miss anything important.
TikTak did miss the ladder skip, which means that he has to now fight these shadows, unlike Panda. And Brand New, let's see, where is he at right now? He seems to have got the ladder skip fine. So Brand New and Panda both avoiding having to fight those shadows, but now you see the time loss that this causes TikTak. The best backup for this actually is not to fight on the top of those stairs. I find it's best to keep Yorda near the ladder that you're trying to climb with her. That way you can kill the first two shadows that spawn, and then as soon as you kill them, you can actually bring Yorda up the ladder and skip the third encounter, which is against the larger shadow, which takes quite a bit of hits to bring down. So TikTak through that harrowing and clench moment there. Many a run killer for top runners of this game. Twitch and YouTube back. Twitch is still running fine for me. It looks like the stream just refreshed and reloaded.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Yeah. Sorry for this little inconvenience. I don't really know.
It's all good. You had that local recording going, right?
Yeah, sure. So you'll have the... Oh, and I'll give you the link for our new YouTube channel. And you'll see that video we're making in the best quality possible, of course. Local recorded tomorrow at this address.
All right, so it looks like Brand New is slightly behind Panda right now, it seems. I'm trying to get a feel for where everybody's at right now. TikTak currently a little bit behind Panda, and JK is making his way out of Stone Pillar here pretty soon. He'll be heading to the East Arena to catch up with these guys. Now this jump here that Brand New is doing right there, yep. That jump is really tricky. It actually looked like he may have just opted to jump straight down the Yorda because maybe he knew she was down there, but typically the runners will try and jump off the railing and fall straight down to her, but that could be dependent on Yorda's placement because the idea is you want to get out of that room as quickly as possible because shadows, there's a timer that's running in that room after you cut that last rope or that last chain, and the shadows will spawn, but if you get out of there fast enough, it'll actually not spawn the shadows. And then when you come back through that room later, the shadows will still be on that sort of global timer. So if you get out of there really quickly, when you run through that room again, the shadows will spawn much later and you'll avoid them entirely. But if you take a little too long getting out of the main reflector room there, they will be ready and waiting for you when you take your second trip through. So let's draw our attention here to Panda's screen. Since he is cutting ropes right now, you can actually get those swag double slashes on those ropes, which means that you don't waste time having to slice both individually, Panda getting both of them. If you kind of hug the wall closer to the left side of the railing, it makes it a little bit easier. And now, a part that everybody dreads is how is Yorda going to react when Panda falls here? Well, not really dreads, but she can do a little bit of RNG here, where she can get scared if you fall close to her. And she'll kind of pause for a second. East Arena, for the most part, is less intense than West Arena, except for the one shadow fight skip from before. Other than that, there's not a lot of things that can go horribly wrong here. Exiting the arena is kind of relaxed compared to West Arena, as you'll be seeing later in the game. Pretty much just going to take Yorda across these bridges and then bring her across the Yorda bridges, whatever you want to call them, the peering platforms. But then we will be coming up to a semi-troll moment here, one of the trolliest moments in the run, where you need to get Yorda onto the elevator, which may seem easy, but if you've played this, you know how tricky that can be. Some runners find using the D-pad a little bit easier, some runners just find general movement with the joystick and kind of yanking Yorda in certain ways, moving into the wall and then onto the elevator to be best. Let's see how Panda does here. Got to activate that switch first, and then need to move Yorda in a very specific way here. You'll see the runners hit the wall, and ooh, just barely getting Yorda onto that elevator. It is very easy for her to kind of get hung up on that lip of the platform, and you'll have to climb back up the elevator and pull her back on, which wastes 20 seconds. Brand New approaching that as well. JK dealing with his shadow fight. Seems like that's going well for him. If that shadow escapes and starts flying around, it can be a big waste of time. So it's always nice to get him cornered against that couch.
Yeah.
All right, Brand New's coming up on the elevator. Let's see if Yorda cooperates.
This is
And she does.
in the first playthrough when we have this happening for so many players. The way it's done, I think there is a little a little problem in the trigger here, because I'm pretty sure it happened like to 50% of the people.
Oh yeah, it's unless you know the specific setup to get her on there semi-consistently.
Yeah. It's
it
cool
is
because
really
it
painful.
gets you interested in the like hand grabbing mechanic and this sort of strange physics. And actually, even on PS2, the vibrations of the controller are related to this, right?
Yes, yeah. So you'll kind of feel Yorda's hand tugging.
Yeah.
JAIKHAY coming up on the shadow skip fight. Unfortunately, they did capture Yorda. See how he recovers from this. This will waste approximately anywhere from 1 to 2 minutes, depending on how quickly he can take out the shadows. In this situation, it's best to just kind of take Yorda into the top left corner there, which will force the shadows to try and reach her. Seems like he's handling it quite nicely, though. Okay. Opting to try and beat it to the ladder. Unfortunately, this is probably not going to work. Yeah, they're always going to grab Yorda. As long as one of those little quick shadows is still alive, they will always be there to ruin your day unless you take them out. And this has unfortunately spawned the large shadow, which means he will now have to take down the large shadow. Let me see. I'm trying to see Panda's screen. Did he go for the sword skip? He did not. Okay. So sword skip, and it looks like Brand New did not opt to go for this either. Sword skip is a very risky strat, which saves 10 seconds. Essentially, as they're exiting East Arena, if you notice right on TikTak's screen right now, top right, you'll see he picked up that stick to light these torches. So what sword skip would mean is that before exiting East Arena, normally you would run back and grab that sword and then exit East Arena. But sword skip will exit with the stick instead, saving you approximately 10 seconds for the time you'd have to backtrack, grab it, and then leave. But what this does is it sets up a very risky situation where Brand New, as you see right now, oh, this is a really bad situation. Let's see. Okay, now it looks like he's going to opt to just hope that when he leaves, that the shadow... this is a very complex situation here to explain, so I'll try and do my best. As you're exiting East Arena, you can leave Yorda in a specific spot, and the shadows will grab her and reset her position. Let's hope that Brand New can get down there in time. The shadows are giving him trouble. This is not good. He can die here. It looks like he may, actually. Oh, wow, that is... I've never seen a shadow troll that hard before.
Whoa.
Can he get to Yorda in time? He needs to pull her out right now. Oh, is she not in the pool? Did it reset her positioning? Oh, it did. Okay, nice. I thought she was in the pool. So that's a great example.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's a great example of the manipulation. So what it does is the shadows will lift her and carry her to that pool specifically. Sometimes she can go to a different pool. So actually, let's look at TikTak's screen, because this is the setup right here. So what he's going to do is he's going to leave her at the third protrusion here. Right there. Do not call Yorda. This is part of the shadow manipulation. Once the shadows grab her, he will start calling to run. So still not calling, still not calling. Okay, they grab her. He's going to start calling now to gain movement speed. And now he's going to be watching his camera. He's probably going to hold R1 here to see where they're bringing her. Let's see. Or at least use the right camera stick, or while he's climbing the ladder, he's going to check just to make sure they're bringing her to the right pool. Or just assume that they're going to bring her to the pool directly beneath him. I think it's like 90-95% of the time they will bring her to the correct pool. Sometimes they'll bring her to a further pool. Now, you're like, wait, but Yorda's captured by the shadows. By him going in here, it kind of resets the shadow placement outside. So when he exits here, it's kind of going to go back in time. So the shadows, he'll have plenty of time to descend this ladder, which is what happened in Brand New's case. I got a little confused because they kind of captured Yorda, it seemed, into the pool. But I guess by going back out and back in, it kind of reset it again. So now you see it reset, and the shadow is late to the party. And he just knocks down the shadow and brings Yorda. That is the optimal non-sword skip version of that skip, where you just knock the shadow down, grab Yorda, and you're out nice and easy. So it looks like Panda is heading towards the waterfall section right now. Brand New also heading there. Brand New slightly behind Panda. Panda in the lead currently. Nice little lead going into the waterfall section. TikTak dealing with a little bit of a tricky jump here. Let's see the camera being a little bit of an issue here. He's trying to grab that ledge to the right.
Yeah.
And then he's got to jump and hit this rope, which is a bit of a tricky jump. I've missed that quite a few times. Now, watch Brand New screen here. This is something where if any of you out there are, you know, trying to help optimize this game, this would be one of the biggest discoveries. See how Yorda is just kind of chilling under that bridge there?
Yeah.
She always... That's actually the best placement for Yorda. Sometimes she can be kind of off in the netherworld when you call her and you have to waste an extra 10 plus seconds. But in that case, she was just chilling, waiting. So if you can find a way to get Yorda to consistently be closer to us, that would be a pretty big discovery in this game. So it looks like JAIKHAY finishing up East Arena here pretty soon. He's past the scariest part, so it should be pretty clear sailing from for him here on out. TikTak also getting ready to head towards the waterfall. Now watch Sancho's screen, bottom right here. He's going to place Yorda in that very specific spot by that pillar, kind of protruding from the wall. Does a little bit of a flick jump up onto that ledge. This is a little puzzle skip here. Normally you'd have to find your way around to get Yorda to climb this a different way, but by doing a little tricky jump there onto that ledge, it's actually very easy to set up. It skips a minor puzzle. Now, let's see how Yorda's feeling today. When Panda climbs this ladder, Yorda may or may not cooperate. The world record for this game by Karikusa, actually, he loses 20 seconds to Yorda not wanting to climb this ladder. But today it looks like she's cooperating for Panda. She was kind of just moving around, spinning in circles. Yeah, so world record for this lost 20 entire seconds. The biggest time loss in the run for world record was due to Yorda RNG. Go figure. So kind of a lull point here for the run. To me, this area, like the area that Panda's in right now, this to me reminds me of the PAL and Japanese covers for the game with these big giant arches. One of the most beautiful spots in the run. A very relaxed part of the run. No shadows to deal with here for a while. So it's a very calm and relaxing point of the speedrun.
Yeah, this is like the very anti-speedrun aspect of ICO. Of course, like all the three games remain very based on AI and stuff like this, but it's more like ICO in a sense, or ICO, closer to Trico, to The Last Guardian as a speedrun.
Yes, I agree.
Than Shadow of the Colossus, because we just everything. How to say that? Is waiting for this AI. It's we don't depend to that AI so much in Shadow of the Colossus.
I really feel like The Last Guardian is pretty much Eco 2 in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. At least we can definitely see that it's sort of coming back to some roots we've already had in ICO and kind of forgot in Shadow of the Colossus, because the game was intended to be more action and stuff like this. So yeah, it felt very good to discover The Last Guardian and like feeling eco thrills like 20 years after. It was just crazy.
So something that I did miss here that you might have noticed the runners doing, you might have been noticing them standing on a railing and doing a awkward jump, but that actually lands them to the lower bridge, skipping a bit of movement there for them. It's a very safe jump. The setup is very safe. A lot of the cool looking skips in this might look super risky, and in some cases they are, but a lot of them actually have a really consistent setup. Now Panda onto the piston jump here, getting it first try, very nice. That is the dreaded piston puzzle that a lot of people really struggle with casually.
This one, I'm always so impressed when I see that first try. Like every time I do a playthrough, I'm always spending like at least 2-3 minutes here.
So the idea is you want to try and jump like the moment that the piston kind of goes all the way to the bottom, and even for experienced runners, it is very easy to miss that on first try. And actually, I've found a setup lately where I pan my camera to the top, where there's like another little protrusion that goes up and down. And I use that as my visual indicator because it's super tricky to time it correctly. So we'll see how Brand New handles it. He's coming up on it soon here. TikTak, not far behind. It's actually very impressive how close this race is, and there's plenty of moments that can still go wrong. And if I remember right, this is still deathless for everybody. I don't think anybody has died here, so this is pretty good.
Yeah, something spiky. Yeah, very relevant here.
All right,
Feels
Brand
like,
New.
you're playing
See
the
how
role
he
of
deals with
Yorda.
it.
Yeah. Oh.
First try. Very nice.
This is awesome. And it's just like a very small window, frame window. I mean, just you just have a few frames to do your input. Yeah.
So I want you to pay attention to Brand New's screen here, bottom left. This jump is another, well, once he pulls the switch and pulls the box. Yeah. The jump from the watermill thing is very tricky. And what you actually need to do is let go of your controls when you make the jump from the watermill to the handle, because when you play this casually, you're kind of panicking, right? The wheel is moving, it seems like you're going to fall off, so you're standing there, you're holding move, and you're mashing jump. But if you do that, you're always going to kind of miss your handhold on the pole that you try and grab. So what the runners are actually going to do here is, before they make the leap to the pole that they're going to grab, they're actually going to kind of let go of their controls entirely to kind of like neutralize it, and then do the movement and jump at the same time. And that makes the grab onto this pole, which Brandon is about to do right here. Leaps onto this, right? And it looks really scary. It's like, oh, I'm going to fall. But you do a very brief moment of neutralization and sort of like a flick jump, meaning movement and jumping at the exact same time. And it makes that pretty safe. Okay, so Panda right now doing another shadow fight skip. Bottom right of your screen. By leaving Yorda on this ledge right there and then calling her once you're up on that ledge after you've pushed the block, Yorda will beeline to your position, and as long... Oh, Panda missing the shadow fight skip. This is really scary. Panda could lose a lot of time here, and could actually potentially die if the shadows escape with Yorda, because it can be really hard to reach her if they bring her to a high up pool. And luckily he's taking care of 2 shadows here, which means that he should be pretty safe. But I've actually lost a run to that situation where they flew away with her and he couldn't recover. But that was a very nice recovery from Panda. But the idea is Yorda, unfortunately, she became scared there. Normally, she would beeline to that box and climb the ledge. And you skip that entire shadow fight. A little scary there. Panda actually recently had an issue in a recent PB attempt where Yorda summoned the shadows way earlier than she was supposed to. And I believe he lost his run because of that. So what used to be a very safe and consistent area is now becoming a lot more scary. Let's see how Brand New does. Perhaps he will get the optimal setup for this without Yorda getting scared. Leave her right there. He's really bringing her into a very specific position. Pushing the box. But one time the shadows summoned early for Panda, where, she didn't even drop off the ledge and the shadows were already coming after her, which was very odd. So now let's see if she cooperates. Will she get scared? She does not. It's not over yet, though, because the shadows... When she's on that box, she's pretty much immune. But when she gets up top here, sometimes the shadow placement can be a little scary, but he makes it out safely. JK, dealing with the dreaded rope jump, gets it. TikTak, let's see if he misses his watermill jump. Nope, he gets that. Like I said, pretty consistent once you get the feel for that. Panda, coming up into the water tower section. Going to be doing a couple of fun shadow fight skip manipulations here as well. There's a couple of things that could go wrong in the water tower section. There's a really risky and scary looking jump. There's the bomb toss. There's a shadow fight skip towards the end. And there's a really risky and really cool looking 10-second time save where they make a leap of faith onto a rope, which looks really scary, but with the right setup is pretty safe. So Panda right now, getting Yorda into a specific position here on these stairs. He's going to take a little shortcut from that ledge up to here. And what this does is, normally you'd have to move through this section with Yorda, and it would spawn shadows the second that Yorda reaches about the point, a little bit past the right of where Panda is right now on the lower ledge. But by leaving her there and solving this puzzle ahead of time with that little shortcut, we can do all this switch pulling and fun stuff, and then start calling Yorda now, so that way she meets us on the bottom here. Panda taking a very safe approach to falling off there. And then Yorda meets him here, and then shadow spawn right there, as you can see. So we skip this. So you never have to fight the shadows here. And what Panda wants to see here is the shadows get stuck under the bridge. Unfortunately, that placement there, because they seem to have a really clear opening to the sky. On the next screen for Panda, the way that the shadows were left in that previous screen is actually going to carry over into the next screen. So if you can somehow get the shadows stuck under the bridge before leaving that screen, it lessens the chance of shadows intervening while he's trying to ascend a elevator. So we'll see how that pans out for Panda. Brand new, also finishing up the shadow fight skip right now. Let's see how he opts to fall. Falls a little bit differently. If you fall off that ledge the wrong way, you can actually bump the corner of that ledge and actually fall to your death, so you got to take that really carefully. Okay, so Panda now, as I mentioned, the shadows were kind of in not so great positions as he left that previous screen. It looks like he's going to get both shadows, 2 shadows potentially here. Yes, 2. So those 2 shadows that I mentioned earlier, 3 shadows, that's really unlucky. Thankfully, he has the sword, though, so they get dispatched fairly quickly. So that was actually a really good elevator shadow fight for Panda. But great example, right? When he left that previous screen, there were kind of shadows that were seeming to ascend into the sky. They affected the elevator. You can actually go through this elevator section without any shadows coming to ruin your day. So just a little bit of RNG there. Let's see, JK is coming up into the waterfall section, so pretty chill. Oh, this is a great spot. Let's see if JK is aware of the bridge skip here.
Yeah.
He is. Okay, watch JK. He's actually taking it a little bit. He'll get it. Yep, there we go. Gets that jump and falls onto the bridge.
Nice.
Cool
so
little
what he did, you have to like fall on the other side and climb again in order to jump, or he just had to try it again.
So the camera was being his worst enemy right there. When standing on that ledge, any kind of slight movement will kind of cause what happened to him there. So normally you just get up on the ledge and then you just press jump again, and ICO reaches to the sky.
It seemed as a sort of setup, but yeah, great job.
Panda pulling off the leap of faith. Very cool looking jump.
Awesome jump, yeah, I love it because it's so easy, even in a casual playthrough you can do it. And it seems very... we were talking about this with Sancho, it's like one of the most impressive jumps of the run, but not the hardest one.
Yeah, once you know the setup, you essentially just stand in a semi-specific spot, and then you just press left on the D-pad and jump at the same time, and it will pull off that
Brand new is gonna do it pretty soon.
Yep, watch Brand New, bottom left screen. He's going to stand in a certain spot on this plank, and then he's going to press left on D-pad and jump at the same time, and the way the camera moves kind of just sets it up for him perfectly to skip climbing down those posts right there to his left. He's taking a really long time to set this up. He's being extra careful. Don't blame him for
It's
grace.
okay, but Sancho, it was really flawless, really awesome.
Panda getting the bomb toss, and then if you actually leap onto that ledge during that cutscene, you get a little bit of an extra head start. And here's the really scary jump. Panda gets it, very nice. That jump, really scary when you're trying to learn this run, because the way the camera swings there, it really throws off your analog movement for that jump specifically. Really easy to miss that jump that Panda took just prior. And Brand New is going to be coming up on it now as well. So the basic idea, and you can kind of see him struggling with that sweeping camera, as I've been mentioning. Still calling. Remember, calling in ICO when Yorda is not nearby quickens your movement. Jumping with the bomb is ever so slightly faster as well. So if you jump into the torch here, it actually lights the bomb. Brand New having a little bit of trouble with that, gets it, moves into a specific spot here, tosses. Now watch him. Jumps during the cutscene.
Yeah. He can grab and climb during the cutscene. Indeed, yeah, that's pretty cool here. That same jump, yeah.
Brand New playing it a little safer. Yeah, he played it a little safer there than Panda. Panda never stopped to gain his bearings there. Brand New. Don't blame him. That's a jump that can cause a big time loss. Actually, if he died
and there is the race condition too. It's not as looking for a PB and stuff like this. So yeah, of course.
If he died there, he'd actually get sent back to right after finishing the waterfall, I believe. So that's a 10-12 minute time loss. So really scary. Panda, let's see if Panda's going to go for the risky chain jump. Panda tends to do this in his PB attempts. Let's see if he does it here. And the risky chain jump means jumping while the camera is still panning. Goes for it, gets a little stumble there, but yeah, that chain jump that he just made there is way harder than you think it is, because you're still moving while the camera is like reorientating itself. And Panda also doing the shadow fight skip right now. Yorda in the correct spot. As long as you're making optimal calls to her at specific moments during this section, she will always be right there. And as soon as she reaches that point, she spawns shadows. But as long as you do this quickly, she will cross this part here, avoiding 2 shadows that you would normally have to fight. And Panda is out of water tower, getting a nice, very much needed checkpoint with that door. Let's see how JK does on the piston puzzle. Can he also get it first try? Let's see. This is something that you do not have to even work. The PAL version of this never even visits this section. And believe it or not, for US fans of ICO, you might be like, huh, I don't remember that puzzle. Well, that's because the US version of ICO does not have the piston puzzle. You actually just shimmy across a pole and skip this part entirely because it's not in the game. The first time I played the PS3 version of ICO, I'm like, huh, I don't remember this. And that's because it was exclusive to pretty much every other version. The PS2 US version is sort of a semi-unfinished version of the game in ways. Aside from shadows, every shadow in the game taking 14 hits. In this game, they can take as few as 1, 7, or 11. And spiders are not aggressive in this version, whereas they are in the US version. Cutscenes are also, aside from 3 cutscenes, not skippable in the US version. So the speedrun for that is pretty abysmal. You have to watch everything. Yorda never shakes her head at you in the US PS2 version, whereas you can see she's being kind of uncooperative here with Brand New.
Yeah.
But she will not shake her head in the US version. She's also a bit more resilient. She doesn't break her hand grip with you quite as much. She holds on a lot tighter, which is kind of nice for some moments where she would normally break her grip. Panda now in the West Arena. This is a part of the run where a lot of things can go wrong. There's a lot of things that require really precise movement. Panda getting that nice jump down off the ledge, very tricky to do, harder to do than it looks. And once he slices this next chain and opens this next door, actually leaving Yorda there on purpose. Actually, I think before I might have got East and West Arena confused. I think I did. Yeah, so earlier in this race, I was mentioning how leaving Yorda and getting her through that door at a specific time will manipulate the shadow spawns later. That applies to here. It's very easy to confuse East and West Arena. Panda missing that jump there, actually that time loss that he had getting off that ledge will impact this run for him a little bit later, because now the shadows will spawn where normally they would not have if he landed that jump on first try. That'll come into play a little bit later. For an experienced runner though, it shouldn't be a problem, but it does mean that the shadows could potentially grab Yorda as he's trying to make an escape. Brand New also entering West Arena, so Panda currently in the lead, followed by Brand New, TikTak not too far behind, and JK, very impressive showing for his first run of this version of the game. Making his way out of the waterfall area. Let's see how he fares with the shadow fight skip. However, Panda now coming up to another shadow fight skip. Notice he's leaping up these steps, which is way faster than normal movement. By doing that, he's holding down the circle button and mashing triangle, which keeps him in a straight line and doesn't allow him to stumble. He left Yorda at the bottom of the stairs here, so once he lights up all these torches, it's going to spawn some shadows. You're going to see him quickly make his way down. The shadows are spawning up top. And then we need Yorda to cooperate. He calls Yorda. Some people opt to grab her hand. He calls for the call Yorda, giving you a nice zoom in of Yorda there. He's actually grabbing a sword now off screen. There it is. Continuing to call her, and it looks like it's going to be a nice shadow fight skip for Panda. That one is definitely a lot easier than the East Arena shadow fight skip. But now, this is where I mentioned earlier it's going to impact his run. The shadows are spawning, I think, right now. Yep, there they are. So, no problem. He got through that first visit to this room quick enough so that those shadows wouldn't be a problem. But if you if you took a little too long earlier when I was mentioning it, the shadows would be in your way and practically grabbing Yorda. So we're dropping her off, giving her a bath in the waterfall room. We'll be back to rescue her later. And now Panda is on a race for his life here, literally, because it's quite easy to die here if he does not do super optimal movement through here. So you're going to notice even that little shortcut on that staircase that he just took that jump on, everything matters. There's only a couple seconds to spare here. Any major mistake, like a stumble, failing to grab a ledge, because Yorda is alone right now, and the whole point of this is to solve a bunch of switch pulling and pushing the reflector
Yeah.
while Yorda is alone.
Now seems better for JK. He's been trolled by those shadows here, and Yorda.
Let's hope he can get out of this safely.
Yeah.
It looks like he took care of all the shadows. That's fine. It's better than losing the run because she can easily get captured there. So
Yeah.
good job to JK for dealing with that. Another part of the PAL run that is just not present. So it's really impressive, you know, considering that he's very much doing his first real run of this game right now. Deathless.
Yeah, that's maybe we could say one of the most impressive performance from him for sure.
Panda still on a ticking clock right now, trying to move as fast as possible through this. Any mistakes here could cause Yorda to get captured and will cause a big, well, not a huge problem, but it will waste a lot of time for Panda. Getting that last rope cut. And now he's just going to pull a switch, and you're going to see him do some really cool-looking jumps here in a moment. Brand New coming up on Shadow Fight Skip here. Oh, he's also, no, never mind, not Shadow Fight Skip. He is also on a Race for Time, stumbling a little bit there. A little mistake like that won't matter too much, but if he makes another one of those, it could cost him. Panda hauling Yorda, which is, here's the most RNG part of the run, even more so than the shadows. When Panda called Yorda there and it kind of panned down, he's going to do a cool jump here, by the way, to a bridge. Watch that. Nice. Saves a little bit of time. Looks scary, but it's pretty consistent. When he meets Yorda again, there's pretty much like a 50-50 chance, I'd say, of her being right where he wants her to be. Right as he comes through a door, she'll be right there to grab his hand and continue the run. But if Yorda's feeling rebellious, she will leave herself at the bottom of the decline of the slope, and he'll have to call her, and it wastes about 20 seconds. So we'll see how that fares. Lighting the torch. This is another troll moment here. Sometimes trying to light this torch, you'll pick it up by accident, or it'll just fail the light, but Panda takes it safe.
Actually, about this speedrun, we can first think about the very obvious anti-speedrun aspect because of AI, and we've mentioned already. But in the end, Yorda is kind of absorbing. For example, imagine a runner, and you can. I mean, you can blame her so much. So in the end, it's like it turns out as a very interesting game to speedrun, because you always have this. Today Yorda was not so friendly. So I mean, it's not so much upon you and your shoulders. So maybe that's less stressful, and that's a cool AI responsibility she has.
Panda doing the very scary West Arena bridge escape. Luckily, makes it through there. The shadows there can clip through the floor. They can land on the platform. They can hit ICO to his death, by the way. Like, they can knock him to his death in that sequence that Panda just did there, or they can grab Yorda. So Panda makes it through there nice and safe. Also, Panda got the semi-optimal Yorda placement. She wasn't super close, but she was close enough to not waste too much time. So Brand New is going to be dealing with that here pretty soon as well. Let's see how his bomb toss goes. TikTak on his way to bring Yorda up the ladder. Let's see if she cooperates. Getting ready for his Shadow Fight Skip. Very nice. There she goes. She can choose to climb back down the ladder sometimes if the shadows kind of scare her. If they land on the platform where ICO is right now, she may choose to climb back down. But because these runners do it nice and fast, they don't got to worry about that. Let's see how Brand New does with the Yorda placement. The RNG, will he lose 20 seconds for no reason? Let's find out. Oh, he's shouting for Yorda. That means she is far. Brand New, that is a perfect example. Brand New losing 20 seconds or so for no reason, thanks to Yorda. So you can see the difference now. Brand New had to call Yorda up there. She can be as close as right there, right where Brand New just walked by. She can be waiting right by that door. So big time waste for Brand New, giving Panda a little bit more of a lead. Let's pay attention to Brand New's screen because he's got to make the bridge escape.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we'll see, as we call him, Mr. Clippy, a shadow that likes to clip through the bottom of this bridge. Let's see if he makes an appearance. Moving through that gate onto this bridge, by the way, is extremely difficult to line up so you don't bonk that wall. So it looks like Brand New is going to be safe here. That was actually a very safe, very nice bridge escape. The shadow spawned very late for him. Very fortunate. And Panda is making his way, spending his final moments with Yorda before they are separated.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, will she climb the ladder? Uh-oh, she's climbing the ladder. He's zooming in to show us.
Yeah.
Yorda's trolling.
No. I saw him like they are not talking so much on the Discord as we can see from here, and he I guess he said to Yorda not to come with him.
So there's different ways you can handle this section. You can drag her all the way to the ladder. You can call her all the way to here, but you run the risk of Yorda getting distracted by birds.
Another spot JK decided to save here.
It's very smart. Yeah, that's a very smart safety save to take for JK. Because this is water tower, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if you die here, you would lose a very significant amount of fun.
I also saw a video recently with Yorda falling and like suiciding. Committing suicide, like just falling because the placement wasn't good and she was trying to grab Iko's hand, but she just felt. So yeah, a lot of things can go wrong, as you said.
JK gets that nice, amazing rope jump. TikTak coming up on West Arena escape here. Just needs to jump down, get the bomb, blow up the door, and find out where Yorda is. Will she gain or lose him 20 seconds? Panda with the final trip through the chandelier room. That final trip, the third time escaping through the chandelier room there for Panda. That can be really scary, actually. The shadows can spawn randomly, so sometimes there's a shadow to your left, sometimes there's one directly to your right. In my most recent PB, I nearly had a heart attack because I went into the chandelier room and I started running right. There were about 5 shadows landed and waiting for me in my path. They grabbed Yorda and I freed her, but man, it just goes to show you how scary that third trip through the chandelier room can be. And that's a really rare occurrence. It kind of caught me off guard. So let's see here. JK, very nice, gets the bomb toss first try. And we're about to find out here for TikTak in a moment how his Yorda feels like playing today. Brand New, as you can see, gets a very nice Yorda placement descending this ladder. She is exactly where he wants her to be. And for TikTak, Yorda is far as well, unfortunately. She is a little bit closer than she was for Brand New, but still wasting time. Notice on Panda's screen here, he is stutter stepping with Yorda, stopping every 8 steps. If you stop, it prevents her from stumbling, which wastes a lot of time. Brand New making his way through the chandelier room escape. Looks like the shadows are being fairly nice to him, nothing in his way. But I should say, this may look easy for Brand New right now, moving through here, but it is very easy to get hung up on the corners and the little ledges and things that are sticking out. Like that turn there that he did is very tricky.
Again, that physics of the arm and taking Yorda with you.
Panda pulling off his patented waste
What did JK
no second.
do?
Uh-oh.
Oh la la. He jumped, he wanted to jump on the... Oh yeah. So the save was actually a very good idea,
Yes.
just here.
I missed where he was trying to jump. I don't know if anybody in chat caught it. Was he trying to make the jump from the ladder portion where the camera swings?
I think he wanted to come on this little wood part. I'm not sure. We'll see that maybe again.
Yeah, we'll see. I missed that part.
And Sancho got separated from Yorda now.
I'm imagining he probably fell as he was trying to descend the plank to rescue Yorda and do the shadow fight skip is what I would imagine. But we'll see. That's why safety saves are a thing. Very smart of him to take it. TikTak, watch TikTak top right. See if he gets ladder skip. He does. Great example. So if you get a very specific line up there and pull and jump with Yorda at a specific angle and moment, it'll actually skip her climbing down the ladder, and that saves anywhere from 7 to 15 seconds. It's nothing to scoff at. Some of the little things you can do in this game can really save a ton of time. Panda here, doing some jumps across the cages, hanging cages. What Panda's doing to make these jumps is he is stumbling on the edge, and the moment that he stumbles, he jumps, which makes it so that he has a higher chance of, first of all, not missing, but also grabbing the top of the platforms, which saves quite a bit of time, like 4 or 5 seconds, I'd say, per optimal jump.
Mm-hmm.
All right, JK again. Let's see how he does here with this jump. Let's see if he plays this safe. You can just climb down the ladder and jump off of it. He goes for the little bit of a risky jump. Very nice. TikTak. Hopefully gets some good Yorda placement after he's done pulling the switch when he comes out. Brand New. Now watch how Brand New does his jump here. This is how most people will take the... Oh, never mind. We already did the separation jump. So Panda actually does an instant jump the second that you gain control of ICO for the bridge scene, which saves approximately a second. It's really risky, but as Panda has put it, he does that because, well, he's just not used to doing it the normal way. So might as well just keep doing the way that you know. Panda here dealing with a box jump, which looks like he got on first try, and then pulling the box over to a chain here. The camera moving, making it so that your movement through here is a little wonky. Got to try and keep your angle straight towards the chain. Let's see if Brand New gets all optimal jump grabs here as well. Stumbling right at the ledge. This is probably the hardest one here to get a top grab on. Let's see if he gets it. He does. Yep, that is the hardest one. And then this one here, ideally, he wants to land with his footing and not grab it, which he does not get. So that wastes a couple seconds right there. You can land on that without grabbing. And then this here is a... Watch the camera with Brand New here. Now, while he's doing that, I know that looks pretty trivial, but that is a really tricky jump. He took a little bit of a safe jump angle there. You can take it a little tighter to save, a couple more seconds. But the way that camera swings is really, really tricky to nail that jump without dying. It actually looks like TikTak. Oh, hold on. In his third chandelier room escape, he is having trouble. Yorda is getting captured right now. This is really bad. Oh, no. She's getting brought up top. So in his escape, something must have happened where Yorda broke her grip, and they grabbed her. He's trying to jump his way back up top. Unfortunately, they're bringing her to a top pool. He should be able to get there in time. She should be to the right. Oh, nice. Oh, no. That may actually not be nice. The AI is glitched out.
Oh, he's glitched
out.
out.
No. The shadow is glitched out under the platform, which means that unless he exits and resets, he would essentially soft lock.
Where is she?
This is very scary.
Where is she?
Okay, he needs to hold R1 to find out where she is again, which he's doing.
Okay, coming there. Coming at this point.
He should be fine, but this is still going to be very, very hard to rescue Yorda.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They got her.
He did it very clearly. Such a great backstrat here. I mean,
yes.
He got adapted very well.
Very nice backup in a tense situation that could have lost quite a bit of time. Panda now coming up to another section that is quite devastating for casual runners of this. So to do this jump, he's actually going to stumble off the ledge here. So the second that he stumbles, he jumps to guarantee that jump there. And this camera angle here is a little tricky. Now, if you fall here in a casual run, I remember one of the runners remarking one time that when they were learning this game, they fell there and they didn't know how to recover from it, so they actually just reset their run. You can actually climb. There's a ladder that's kind of hidden in the back left corner.
It's very hidden. That's right. You can from the camera, the way it's made, you can definitely not find it somehow.
Panda, as he mentioned, he would go for. If you were watching Panda's screen there, he went for a very risky cliff jump. Where he jumps early, lands, and immediately jumps to the left. He was practicing that a night or two ago.
Yeah. And again, before I saw him practice this one quite a lot, and this is very, very impressive because we can't see, but the camera placement is kind of very important. And oh yeah, he got it very fast. Wow. Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, that was a very fast setup. Some runners will spend quite a bit of time setting up to make sure that's a correct angle. But essentially what he does there is he stands in a specific spot and then hits left on
He's
D-pad and jump. And skips that shimmying section, which saves about 10 seconds or so.
and he's doing those jumps here. He's really on fire today.
Yeah, so jumping there, the reason to do it, which is probably a little bit slower than calling, the reason to jump there is because you actually lock yourself into a specific angle. So you're always, once you get the right angle and you keep jumping, you will never veer to the left or right. So it's potentially faster to do that than try calling, which means that you have to move eco with the analog, which can cause some issues.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was faster, yeah, at first, but all right.
I don't think anybody's actually timed it, but yeah, it's more so just to have a consistent movement angle.
Okay, very interesting to know, because it seems like he's trying to go faster, but for sure, yeah.
Another trick here with Panda coming up, he's going to pull this chain back, and he's going to take 3 to 4 steps forward, holding down on the D-pad, and watch this little trick he's going to do with this chain. It's really cool. He's actually going to bonk off the chain, like pinball. Boop, boop, boop.
And I think he bonks on the,
on the wall, yeah.
On his back, on the wall too, and that's why it's so fun. Bonk, bonk,
yeah, so it allows you to grab the chain and jump right off very optimally. Here's Brand New coming up bottom left here on the cliff jump. Let's see how he approaches this. Now you see the difference here. He spends a couple seconds setting up this next jump, actually like 5 seconds. So that just shows you Panda, the time save that can come from the risky setup that he took. Pay attention to Panda's screen here. Oh, Brand New will be coming up to another risky jump. This is the last jump of the run here for Panda, that last fall. So once you fall there, that's it. Your run is safe. It can no longer end in any way. Unless you get killed by the queen.
Yeah, or the fight, you can be trolled by the shadows, of course. This is very random too, no?
Now look at Brand New. Takes a little bit more time to set it up, but gets it. Very, very cool looking jump. Panda, bottom right here, coming up on the sword skip. Which doesn't mean you skip the sword. Oh, Panda missing the sword skip cutscene. Wastes about a second. But you can hold down interact and it'll grab the sword while skipping that cutscene. But you have to get good timing on that for it to be worth it. Now, let's see how TikTak approaches this box jump. This box jump is very peculiar. So top right here. Even in a casual play, this is quite difficult. But runners have been finding a more consistent way to do this jump by leaving the box a little bit further away from the ladder than you normally would. And if you jump from sort of a right direction to a left direction at an angle, it'll allow you to grab this ladder a little bit more efficiently. Let's see if TikTak gets it first try. He does not. So that is the horrors of the ladder jump. As you can see, it can cause some issues, but he gets it on second try. Looks like JK making his way out of... Oh, Yorda being a little... Oh, no, this is not good for JK. Yorda, uncooperative in climbing that ladder for him. So now that means JK is going to have to deal with a bunch of shadows.
Yeah.
Brand New actually opting for the safer and slower descent down that chain, not going for the
He didn't do the we will wreck you bonk slash?
Nope. Panda now up onto another big time loss or time gain part of the run, where you have to take out 53 shadows. So certain runners will take refuge in the left side here, certain runners will take refuge in the right side. Panda opting for the left side corner here because it actually allows better camera panning to check and see how many more shadows you need to kill if needed. So the general strat here, there's a lot more to it, and it's got a lot of really nuanced strats to it. But the general thing you need to know while the runners are fighting the shadows here is that they will stay in the corner by the stairs, and they will keep their back towards the corner there. And as you can see, what that causes the shadows to do is run towards Eco and fall down behind him, and then he's killing them with a backswing.
Yeah, so because basically they are supposed to come in your back, to walk towards you when you're not facing them. And also, yeah, the major aspect is the impact of the sword. I mean, the hitbox of the sword is just so crazy. You can hit them even behind you. So, yeah, the mix of those two mechanics, two aspects, is like... creating this fast strategy, but still there is a lot of RNG here. It can vary a lot now, the time in that section, I guess.
As you can see, Panda panning to check how many more shadows approximately he needs to kill.
He's doing so
Panda,
great here.
it's not a bad shadow fight. Ideally, he wants to be killing like 2 or 3 in a swing many times, but it seems to be going all right. The shadow here, as you can see, is trolling him a little bit. That's losing him some time. In one of his more recent PBs, he actually lost like 40 seconds on the shadow fight because the final shadow just did not want to die. So it just go to show you how much time you can lose at the end of the run here. Very nice right there, killing I think 5 of them in a few seconds.
But knowing this, you guys on the chat, next time you do a casual playthrough or anything with ICO, just try it. It's so cool, and then there is something really satisfying when you remember those hours you spent the first time you discovered this in the game.
Panda actually opting to go to the opposite side. Oh, because he notices a shadow is stuck against the wall.
Fuck.
Showing that to us. Wow, I've never seen that before.
Wow, really? Can he? Okay, unstuck.
Okay, he freed it.
RNG. That's
so Panda should have this run in the bag for first place, unless he gets trolled really hard by the final shadow, or dies to the queen. Panda should have first place. Brand new, not too far behind. But Panda should be coming up soon on the end of these shadow fights. Brand new also opting for the left side. The shadows seem to be quite uncooperative for Brand New, not really spawning in too fast there. Okay, here comes a bunch of them.
He's closer to the corner than Sancho was. Maybe they can't fall into the little...
Yeah, that's a good observation because if they can't really
he
fall, like look at that shadow. See how he's
just one step more, and yeah, it seems you need to create a sort of little space behind you. It's a lot of invisible things happening here.
Panda getting trolled super hard by the final shadow. The shadow is actually taking refuge in an overhang from the fallen over casket from where the game started. Wow, that was... Panda had a really interesting shadow fight. So unless Panda dies to the queen, Panda should have first place. Very well played by Panda, but let's not jump to conclusions. Panda's an expert at the queen fight, but you never know. TikTak going for this chain jump here. Interestingly, as shown by the TAS of this, you can actually make that chain... Well, first of all, that chain jump that TikTak just did is the only chain jump in the game that requires more than 1 momentum swing before making the jump. So the safe way to do it is 3 swings before jumping, but it only requires 2 if you have a slightly higher position on the chain. You can actually do it in only 2 swings, saving about 3 seconds, but if you miss, your run is pretty much dead. So it's up to you. Is it worth the gamble? Oh, and TikTak missing the stumble jump. Now, I did that in a run a couple days ago.
The ladder we've mentioned. Oh, no, it's behind this. Go.
No, I didn't want to mention which runner it was, but I remember TikTak mentioning that this is the thing that caused him to reset a run long ago.
Yeah,
but
here.
It looks like he remembers.
My God. Because of this, what you say, yeah, you're right. Because the runners actually just reset the whole run when this happens.
So you can actually die on missing that jump, by the way. It happened to me in a run. I missed that jump, and I hit one of the spikes on the spinning wheels.
Wow.
And the spike pushed me over the fence.
Yeah, wow. Oh my God. I see. Wow, crazy.
It never happens. So Panda in the middle of the queen fight here. The nice thing about the queen fight is it is not random. The sword placement is always the same. Shallow right, far left, shallow left.
A very cool aspect for speedrunners, yeah.
There are time saves for the queen fight, however. You'll notice that Panda is trying to swing his sword every time that she puts out that sort of energy blast that she does. If you swing your sword at a very, very specific moment, it's like only a couple frames.
Last sword,
Gets it nice. Panda with a great example there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
perfect cycle here. Just one hit, boom. And that's it for Sancho. Great job. Huh?
Maybe he'll lose the run on the beach. Maybe he'll lose his way. We'll have to see. But yeah, otherwise that is a nice finish for Sancho Panda. The run is essentially complete. The timer does not stop, though, until after the credits are done, which is about 11 minutes of credits, because there's still more movement to be done on the beach. See how Brand New does on his queen fight. Let's see if he can get some slashes to avoid the knockback and the delay. And there's more to it than just a little bit of frames that you lose from getting hit, because in certain phases...
JK having a big problem here. I just heard the sound, but I think Shadows took Yorda, or no, maybe... Okay, so back to the second, the east, which one is it? This one?
That is West Arena.
West Arena, yeah.
Oof. Yeah, I missed what happened with JK. That's unfortunate. It's a very, very big loss of time. But with the queen fight, if you do get optimal slashes on certain phases, it will actually skip one of her energy blasts, which can save extra time.
And no, didn't have it. We saw Sancho having this one. Brand New tried.
Yeah, it's a very, very tough timing, especially as you're close to the queen. You have little time to react.
Beam. Got it. Great job from Brand New.
Yep,
yeah,
not
very,
far.
Very close, huh?
That was it was actually a very close race between TikTak, Panda, and Brand New for a large majority of the run, but that's what makes the races exciting, right? Where one little mistake can cost a lot of time, so there's this nice push and pull aspect where if you think of eco speedruns, if you're not too familiar with them, you'd probably just think, well, no glitches. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? I mean, how much time variance can there really be between runners? But as we see here, these are some top runners. You know, there's a lot of back and forth. There was a time where Brand New had a really commanding lead at the start of the game, and things unfortunately just didn't go to plan with him in Graveyard Skip, which allowed other runners to catch up. But yeah, it was really close, and JK making a very strong showing for his first attempt at running this version of the game. Unfortunately, West Arena is it's a little lengthy, so every time he dies and has to reset here, it is quite unfortunate. I don't know if any of the people watching caught where he died previously. What was it, in West Arena or was it after West Arena? Yeah, let's see if JK can handle this shadow fight skip again. So last time this caused some trouble for him. Gotta remember, do not call Yorda there, because if you call her, it's gonna spawn the shadows ahead of time. Alright, so here we go. Let's see how this goes. Let's see if Yorda follows JK up the ladder. He takes the hand grab approach, which... come on, Yorda. There we go. This time worked out. Last time it did not, unfortunately. He may have also spawned the shadows a little bit ahead of time last time. I'm not really sure, but I did see him miss this one of the other attempts. But this time it worked out perfectly for him. He was doing the bomb toss in West Arena. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would do it. That is a very difficult timing section for new runners. So yeah, if you dabble and waste just a little bit too much time, Yorda will get captured in that section. So hopefully this time, with the experience he's gained, we'll get it on this try. TikTak approaching the 53 shadows. Ideally here, you want to jump towards the shadows and try and hit as many as you can. TikTak. Wow, okay, he gets one. The shadows were really trolling him there. But ideally you want to get like as many as you can. 3, 4, 5 at the most, usually. And let's see how the shadows choose to approach TikTak. Hopefully he gets a good shadow fight. Lots of them grouped up. I noticed a lot of runners used to take the right side of the tomb room, I guess, as we want to call it. I don't know what you want to... I don't remember what the official name for this area is. But lately a lot of runners have been taking the left side. I might actually take that approach myself. I kind of like the way that the shadows approach from this side as opposed to the other side. I like that it has a more zoomed back view, because if you do this on the right side, the camera's a lot closer to Eco, whereas here you can see more of the screen, which allows you to sort of move Eco in ways that you can maybe bring shadows in that normally you wouldn't be able to see. JK right now pulling the reflector. Something to note about reflector pulling in this, or pulling any objects in this game. Just like in real life, with leverage, you want to grab it from the outermost corner and pull, because that actually spins it faster.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect of the physics, because at this at the time, no other game was doing something like this. It was, it's an interesting physics aspect.
So let's focus on JK here. He is in a very tricky time section. On a timer, Yorda is in another room, so he needs to do everything here as perfect as he can. Any small mistake can cause Yorda to get captured. So jumping up the stairs, saving every second he can. Gets the double rope slash, which is great, because that can waste some time as well. Credits still going for Brand New and Panda here. Like we said, the credits are quite long in this. No way to skip them. The ultimate time save for an eco speedrun if you can find a credit skip.
That would be, well,
Oh, okay, my bad. This part here that JK was doing was a little bit earlier on in the West Arena. He wasn't on so much of a ticking time bomb there, but now he will be. This is the area that matters. Should be calling to move faster through these sections here, but he should hopefully be okay. There we go. There's the calls. Like I said, the calling in this game really matters for movement. He opts to take the safer route because obviously not knowing the setups to leap over the ledges like the other runners.
Yeah.
You don't want to be risking that if you're not sure of the setup, so he takes the normal route down. See how this goes for him with the bomb. Probably the trickiest section, because if the bomb doesn't light when you want it to. TikTak also getting super trolled by what appears to be one of the last shadows. Shadows are really giving him a bad time. Uh-oh, JK stumbling with the bomb, but recovering. That time loss, though, could cost him here. Placing the bomb extra close. You don't have to actually place it that close. You can put it a little bit further away from the bomb door. Gets the light. Gets further enough away. Uh-oh, Yorda captured. Like I mentioned, wasting time there.
Yeah.
He can still recover from this. It should be fine as long as it's at the top pool.
Yeah.
Let's hope that Yorda is up top. And
yes, she's coming.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I think.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This is fine. They're bringing her to the top.
Oh,
no. He's got to reset. Oh, what?
Wow.
Holy.
Oh, they have this system to go through walls when they are glitching. What the fuck?
Okay, I've never.
It's awesome. Never saw that.
That actually worked out for him, though. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a clip.
Thank you, JK. We discovered such a crazy thing here. They have a superpower to go through walls.
It like warped through the floor.
And it's the same effect as when Yorda gets trapped. It's crazy.
Yeah. JK needs to be careful here. This is the last super scary moment of West Arena. He needs to get optimal movement through the gate here. This angle really matters because any delay in this moment, okay, that's really good. That's good movement through that gate. You can bonk there, and then the shadows that are spawning actually have time to catch up. So as long as he's constantly adjusting his joystick position, by the way. He's not just holding left. He's constantly battling the camera and gets the bridge escape. It's really nice. Free of West Arena, JK. Well done. Yorda, still giving him a hard time. Pulling him through there. TikTak takes down the shadows. They seem to be trolling him pretty hard. But he's through that. Let's see if he can get the elevator. He does. Very nice. Once again, something that is completely skipped in the PAL run of this. One of the trolliest moments of the run. He forgot to bring down Yorda with him, but she will follow. The only part of the run where you actually need to reignite your torch. There's not enough time to run from one torch to the other, so you have to put it out, reignite it. TikTak dealing with the queen right now. I missed if he got any sword swing timings, but it looks like he is at the very start of the fight here. So let's see how this goes for TikTak. Taking as a directive of an approach as he can to the sword. That was a very nice movement to that sword right there. The way the camera swings, it can be really hard to get a direct lineup and correct path. If he did that just fast enough without getting caught on the stairs, he actually could have avoided that last wave, I believe. See, this is one of the harder ones to get. Doesn't get it. Can't reiterate how hard the timing is on those sword swings. This one will be in the wall, calling once again for that movement speed to make sure that you have plenty of time to reach the sword. Just missed that cycle right there. Gonna pull back this pillar twice, 3 times if you want to be extra safe. Which acts as the sword so that you can safely get here without getting caught. That is probably the scariest sword pickup right there, because you need to be pinpoint precise to make that sword in time.
Hmm.
Jumping slash to the heart.
The jump slash, yeah. So yeah, and again, the queen attack is basically that same void thing, so we can see it in many different contexts. If a shadow can go through a wall using it, I guess you shouldn't, yeah, and better having the sword to protect you.
Seems like an eternity, but the other runners are now on the beach. Essentially what is going on here on Panda's screen is he is just holding R1, which makes ICO run as fast as possible, and it is possible to lose time on the beach scene. GG for Panda. That is time to approach Yorda. So it looked like a 137.26 or 27.
Okay.
137.26 or
27, 26?
Or, yeah, that...
It doesn't really matter. I'll put 26 because we are not so precise, but yeah, GG to him. Congrats. And brand new.
Just make sure you fix where it says 3 hours instead of 1.
Oops, yeah, sure. I didn't see. Thanks.
It's actually quite, like, we don't want to downplay how hard the beach scene can actually be. It's like secretly really hard to run in a straight line here, because, like we mentioned, the camera is always tilting
24.
and panning.
Okay. Lucas,
24.
thanks.
Which makes it actually quite difficult to keep a straight line here, because you have to contend with adjusting. Uh-oh, JK. In the final chandelier room escape, also dealing with trouble that TikTak also dealt with. Yeah. I missed how many shadows were in his path when he entered, but it appeared to be a lot. And this is a clutch moment right here. Let's hope he can take these corners sharply. Well, not too sharp. Actually, I should reiterate. You do not want to take those corners sharply. You actually want to take rounded turns there, because if you take it too sharp, it will actually catch Yorda. And she will probably get captured by the shadows. So a good escape there for JK. A little scary. Brand new finishing as well with a 138.52.
Okay, thanks.
Is what it appeared to be to me.
Wonderful.
And an in-game time of 133.25 for Panda.
Yeah, we got the in-game time too. Yeah, that's great. Showing it here. Perfect.
Great. JK coming up on the separated jump grab. Can be a little scary.
Oops.
Just because it's just such a clench moment, just not in even the player's mind, but like in the game. It's just such a crazy moment in the game where you feel like you don't have control coming out of this, like you're watching this cutscene, and then suddenly the game gives you control back, and it's like, oh my goodness, I think the first time everybody plays this game, you're kind of caught off guard. You never expected to have such a smooth transition from a cutscene to gameplay, which is something that ICO does quite well, and especially in this scene. To me, it's one of the most iconic moments in gaming history as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I do follow you on this, yeah.
So just watch, right? Like, just watch the way the game transitions from this cutscene back into gameplay. It's just such a amazing moment. It is possible to miss this jump. And if you miss this jump without taking a safety save, it's a huge time loss. So let's see how JK does. Nice.
So it's almost a PB from Sancho. Good job. It is in our hearts.
Yeah, that was a very, very nice run. Except for the shadows trolling in 53 Shadows, of course.
Again, the void.
Alright, let's see how JK does on the hanging cage jumps. This gives us a good moment to kind of reanalyze the final section here because it was kind of chaotic as people were in different parts of the run. We can kind of see how the layout of the, well, as Central calls it, the water world section. There's a lot of intricacies to this section. You might think, oh, okay, this is probably not as hard because you don't have to deal with Yorda. JK should be quite experienced, however, in this part because this is required in the PAL run as well. So he's had some good experience with a few runs going through here. So getting all top ledge grabs, let's see if he gets the hardest one. And nope, you can kind of see how ICO magnetized to the bottom. So what actually determines that is the swinging and the swaying of these cages. There's a little bit of randomness to it, and I don't think anybody's really figured out how to manipulate it or deal with it, honestly. So anytime you do a run, it's seemingly going to be in a different position. So, you know, if they're swinging just a little bit too far away, you'll miss that top ledge grab and have to climb up again. Missed how TikTak fell behind. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, there was a lot happening. I'm trying to remember the specific moment. I don't know if anybody recalls, because for a while it was pretty close in a three-way. He missed East Arena idle skip. Had to fight for it. Yeah, oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, the dreaded ladder that I think everybody dreads, where if you fail to get Yorda up quickly, you have to fight shadows, and that can lose a significant amount of time. Very nice JK getting the box jump first try. Deceptively difficult. Leaving that box in a position, like if you drop it off to make that initial jump, if you leave it a little bit further to the right, it's just kind of nice because then you can fall off into the water and it'll be ever so slightly closer for you to pull to the chain. Missing the chain jump there. The angle can be very deceptive here, actually, because the way the chain, the proximity of the chain when you're standing on the box is very, very tricky and deceptive.
Yeah.
Try.
Because it's also pretty high, I think. You need to be at the top of your jump.
Because when you're pulling it, the camera makes it look like the box is in the position it needs to be, but then when you get on top of the box, you're like, oh, yeah, that's not where I thought it was.
Yeah, that camera angle is quite unforgettable, yeah. Okay,
so let's see how he
jumping
jump
here. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gets the cutscene jump.
Nice. And almost grabbing and going on during the cutscene. I don't know if that's possible.
I am mortified of that jump, by the way, because when I used to do PAL runs, I actually jumped from that ledge one time after pushing that thing and landed on the rocks like you would.
So you
the ledge.
You
I died. And apparently that's really rare. I don't know what angle I took, but yeah, I died. So I tend to take that jump pretty safe now because I just never forget. JK coming up on what is many a runner's worst nightmare. You wouldn't think it, but this pipe right here.
And I gotta admit, on PS2, the resolution changes quite a lot. It's very dark. It's more scary, I'd say.
Oh yeah, this game is very dark.
He's trying to jump. Oh, he's trying to do it with only one jump.
Now, normally what the game wants you to do here is climb that whole up, but you can do that little shortcut there. So once again, the only chain that requires 3 swings, or 2, if you're feeling risky. Wait, was that a 2-chain jump that he just did?
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And is he high enough?
But He does
My
a
God.
2 switch on that one, which only requires
All
1.
right.
So that was that was such a close chain grab. It looked
I
like he
didn't know it
grabbed,
was
like,
possible, the 2 swing jump. Wow.
Yeah, JK, the only runner showing off that swag. The super risky 2 swing first chain jump there. And if you
Wow.
notice, he just barely grabbed the bottom of that second chain.
Oh
but
my
missing.
God. No.
Did he? Okay, he didn't
Oh,
die.
for I
See
thought he.
that fence? You can fall behind it and die.
Oh yeah. So that's exactly what you said before. Yeah. Oh no. What?
Oh, he's going the wrong way. Oh. See, this is what I mean. The runners, they need to remember about that ladder.
Yeah, that ladder. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what it is? He just wants to show us the 2 swing jump again. That's all it is. He's like, oh, you missed it? Let me show you again. But yeah, that jump, you need to get a stumble jump. If you don't stumble on the ledge, you will miss it.
And we're gonna get TikTak's time.
But once again, we get to see this pipe here, and I just want to reiterate how scary this pipe is. The way the camera swings, just watch the way the camera is moving when he crosses this pipe bridge. He's contending with that camera angle mid-movement. And some runners will jump, like, right there, but you need to land on the pipe. It's just... And the troll pipe here, as you can see, he's trying to grasp this pipe here. 4 jumps, does not grab.
Oh my God.
Gets it on the 5th. Yeah, that is one of the trolliest sections of the entire game. That pipe, the hit detection of grabbing it is incredibly poorly coded, I guess. All right, let's watch the 2 swing jump. Okay, he does move up here, so that makes it safer. That does waste some time, so it probably mitigates part of the 2 swing jump timing here. But you can actually make the 2 swing jump, I think, from the bottom of that chain. I don't know. I've never tried it. I never will try it. That's just too risky. But this chain here,
Wow.
because... So looking at this closely, because he makes that 2 swing jump, he lands very low on the second chain, which means that he actually takes 2 swings on... Oh! He takes 2 swings on the second chain, which would normally only require 1 if you landed high enough on it. I'm not sure what happened there. I guess he fell off the second grab on the pole.
And TikTak get a 48-30, something like this, or 31. I'm not sure.
Somewhere around there.
Congrats, huge GG to TikTak as the others.
Very nice run.
It was pretty much the duration of the credits as a difference, like 10 minutes.
Third time's a charm for JK. Let's see if he can
Sancho
get
is
out of
trying
this.
something here.
Sancho is showing off the super
Yeah.
fancy bomb toss where he bounces it off the wall and it hits off the chandelier and blows up the pillar afterwards. Doesn't really save any time, just looks super cool. Looks like Brand New is spending this time to redeem his graveyard skip, which was very unfortunate for him in this race. Had to spend time killing the shadows.
And TikTak's in-game time here, 1:44.
So let's watch JK again and hope that he can get through this very dreaded section. Whew, my god, that is heart attack worthy right there, that jump. He's not moving up on the second chain. Hopefully he takes 3 swings. Okay, nice. Alright, this is where he fell again before. Nice. Okay, I see what happened to him here. So to grab those posts more consistently, instead of doing a standing jump, runners will gain a little bit of momentum and do a moving jump, but I think he had the wrong angle, which caused him to miss the post and fall down again. Alright, hardest jump right here. Let's hope he gets the angle right.
Good.
Oh, nice. That jump is one of the hardest in the game if you're trying to go fast. And this here acts as a checkpoint. So JK out of that screen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how he approaches cliff jumps. If he does die, he will.
It's interesting how we don't have any clue of what's acting as a checkpoint, except the doors. We know that playing the game, but here it's even more stressful because you just don't know. You can't save because Yorda isn't with you. You're like, oh, I shouldn't die at all.
JAIKHAY giving us some mini heart attacks here as he stumbles on the ledges, just
Yeah.
proving how scary this section can be. Let's see if he will go for the risky shimmy skip, as I'll call it, which would normally make you shimmy your way across this ledge. He is going for the skip. So, ooh, it's a little far forward. You need to be in a very specific spot, sort of farther back than you would expect, and
Oh,
nice you get.
GG.
So yeah, you can kind of see the struggle here, right? Like he's calling to move faster, but the thing to keep in mind here is when you're running in the center between those pipes, it's actually slowing you down because Eco's legs are sort of like bobbing up and down. The ideal thing that you want to do there is stay at the tippity top of one of the pipes and try and move as straight as you can, sort of crossing between the concave part of these two pipes, as what's happening right there, is losing you minimal amounts of time, but it does add up, which is why, as we saw earlier in the race, Panda opted for straightening himself out and jumping through that, because you don't have to contend with the camera in that instance. Now this part here that JAIKHAY is on, I didn't get to speak too much about it at length, but as you can see, it's kind of scary. You see how he almost stumbles on that ledge? I know this looks really straightforward, but if you've played this game, you know how the camera can be at times, and the way it's swinging around here can be really, really risky. If you're not taking your time on certain parts here. Let's see how he approaches the chain jump. Will he do the ping pong back and forth jump? Looks like he might. He's setting up for it, and he gets it nice.
And it's actually pretty cool, yeah, because then you don't have to balance at all on the chain. You can just jump from it because you're in the good position. So the whole setup
JAIKHAY
is like very cool.
JAIKHAY jumping over a rock, which you can run around, but boy, it's one of the, and I'm not kidding when I say this, it's one of the hardest things to do in the run if you try and run around that rock. You definitely want to jump over it. You also can make that jump there without going on the ladder, but it's way too risky for a race, that's for sure. JAIKHAY needs to go a little bit further to the right. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, but this angle is much more difficult to... Again, that resolution and the PS2 version, it's not as clear. the whole cue.
That's a good point. Very good point, yeah. It's because in the PS2 version, everything will look a little more muddy. And that specific setup right there, where he falls off that ledge, you're looking for a very specific sort of jutting out angular point that may be harder to see in PS2.
Yeah.
JAIKHAY with the sword skip cutscene, so he holds interact as he approaches the sword, and it skips having to skip the cutscene. So the sword skip, I guess you could say. Wants to wash off the mud a little bit in the water there. And now he is approaching the shadow fight. We'll see how that goes for him. Brand new, getting some practice in here at Stone Pillar.
Yeah,
fairly long,
never stopping. Huh? They need to practice, even now.
Actually opting for a very interesting setup here, Brand New. Looks like you might be experimenting with placing Yorda up top before doing the shadow fight. Oh no, actually my bad, this is after shadow fight. My bad, I wasn't watching.
Are you saying we are watching some
no.
speedrun routing trials elaboration?
Oh, yeah, I thought he was putting Yorda up before fighting the shadows, but no, the shadow fight already took place.
Because this is just so cool to see how this game is still experimented. Oh, we had a problem with Brand New. I don't know if he stopped his stream. Let's try to refresh that. Give me a second. Up.
Alright, let's see if JAIKHAY, is he a lefty or is he a righty? Let's see what side he chooses. Ooh, very nice shadow attacks here. Seem to be maybe 3 or 4. He's a righty, the only runner choosing the right side tonight.
Wow.
But now you can see the difference, right? So you can see you have less of a field of view. So any shadows that are approaching from the left or the right are sort of obscured. However, some runners just prefer this placement because they kind of just like the closer zoomed in view. It's just personal preference. There's a lot of variance. I know SanCHOPANDA did some timings between the top runs across Japanese runs, US runs, between all different types of runners. And there's a very big time variance between runners in this section. As much as like up to a minute between top runners and the shadow fights in some instances.
Very understandable. So much maybe the part with the most AI, I mean, in volume, I mean, like the most characters with AI. So random is here.
I guess we should take this time to just remind people that if you are interested in speedrunning Eco or Shadow of the Colossus or Last Guardian, you should join the bustling Team Eco Speedruns Discord. There'll be links in that in chat. So if you're interested in learning Eco, come join us. It's a really fun run. I was a little scared about running it because Eco is my favorite game of all time, and I said to myself, do I really want to take that ability away of, never being able to casually play my favorite game ever again? But man, let me tell you, I'm so glad that I decided to start running this version of the game. It makes me appreciate it even more. I get to enjoy it more often than I normally would, because I take years off between my casual playthroughs of this, but now it's like, man, I just get to enjoy this game.
Yeah, this is so cool what's happening with all the Fumito Ueda games and Team Eco games. We're just, I mean, they are alive and Eco 20 years after. It's lovely, absolutely lovely. I think most of the people in the community are just so happy to. And actually, we got here two Shadow of the Colossus runners. Basically, JAIKHAY and TIKTAK are absolutely amazing on Shadow, and they just wanted to try this one. Super cool.
Yeah, a lot of crossover between runners. Shoutouts, by the way, to Sable Dragon Rook, who also is sort of bringing new life to Last Guardian speedruns through her marathon appearances with that, bringing a lot of new interest in runners into that game. And then Eco has blown up recently, probably mostly due in part to activity and enthusiasm from Panda to the PS3 run. So this category and this run of the game has blown up from like just one active runner to now, I don't know, we're growing by the day. It's like 6 or 7 active runners. There's people that are actively running but haven't submitted their times yet, so it's a really exciting time for Team Eco speedruns.
I remember a few months ago in Shadow of the Colossus, but nowadays it's fun. Today it's more like it's even the case in Eco. Almost new world records every day. It's like absolutely crazy. Thanks for all of you in the chat to allowing this, and all the runners, of course. Don't hesitate to follow them. If it's not the case, you can just type their name and the bot will give it to you. And thanks to you for providing such a great commentary. Actually, I was working on the technical side of the last big races, but wow, I think we all agree on the chat. You can give a huge applause to this absolutely awesome Pit's commentary today. Thank you so much. It was really helpful on my end. I just enjoyed it so much. Thank you.
Just excited to chat about my favorite game of all time, Pleasure. I know that, the runners are like, oh, join us in a 5-way race. I'm like, listen, let me just gush about Eco and talk about all the cool tricks in this game for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And maybe in the future I'll join some of the races.
Of course, yeah.
Also, be sure to follow this channel, because I know if you want to talk about it, you guys have some bigger things planned for, future big races across the series. So if you guys are looking for more speedruns for Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, and Last Guardian following this channel, there'll be more happening.
We already had Foxy doing a lonely marathon of the 3 games, and I'm pretty sure very soon we'll have more players like this, and we can imagine a marathon race of Team Eco games. Like JAIKHAY is not far from it, so yeah, this will occur very soon for sure.
Yeah, I've done one, which, by the way, that Last Guardian speedrun, that's a no joke speedrun. Shout outs to the people that are grinding that right now, because I love Last Guardian as well. After my casual playthrough, I'm like, let's try learning this run, and I was using the world record, and I was using Sable's awesome commentary on her streams of that to kind of learn. and I attempted my first run, and it was like 5 hours and 20 minutes. I'm like, holy moly, there are so many things that can go wrong in this run. Like, the thing about Last Guardian, it's sort of like ICO, where one minor mistake that might save you a second or two can cost you like 5 minutes if you fail it. So, you know, experimenting on all the tricks and skips and everything, I mean, that is one intense run. You also have to have a lot of patience. You know, if you think you need patience to speedrun Eco, just wait until you try speedrunning The Last Guardian. But still another really entertaining run. And I don't know, I'm also myself interested in learning the Shadow of the Colossus remake speedruns at some point, because
that would be lovely. Yeah,
that game looks so amazing, and I've never looked into speedruns of that game. I'd imagine they're pretty intense.
Oh yeah, it is.
JK coming up on the queen fight here. Seems like he had a fairly smooth Shadow section.
And
oh, a little trouble there with that swing there. That was odd.
He was mashing, and ooh,
calling there, very good.
It's okay, very good, perfect. Because he got away from the pillar pretty, not very soon. Oh, come on,
just you know, a little bit of acrobatic queen before he killed her, you know.
Yeah, just a little dance.
For last moments. And for those of you that are interested in reading about more Eco lore, there is an Eco book, Eco Castle in the Mist. So if you're really interested in the world of Eco, it is essentially glorified fan fiction by a prolific author.
Yeah.
But it's a very fascinating glimpse into an interpretation of the world of Eco. Now, it's a very interesting experience when I was attempting to read it, because the thing that I loved about Eco is that a lot of it is left up to your imagination and your interpretation. And the thing that I found with this book, even though this book was filled with amazing details, it's like, you know, this is ruining my interpretation of the story. So, you know, some people love the book. I, for one, I actually stopped reading it halfway through. Maybe one day I'll go back to it. And I know that sounds weird, you know, my favorite game of all time, but I forgot Brandy's not running.
Whoa,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, same. But
yeah,
you're absolutely right. And when you say it's about getting your own interpretation, I think for the few Ueda said about his work, that's a really important aspect of it. Like everyone is free to inject what they want in this very minimalistic approach. And that book actually, Sancho talked about it a lot, and it seems to be a great addition to the story and the background. I would also want to mention a book from an author. I'll try maybe to find a link. It's like The Works of Fumito Ueda. I think you can find it by this name, The Works of Fumito Ueda. It's kind of an analysis, but without injecting any theory or interpretation. It's like a very game design point of view of everything he did through the 3 games, and it just honestly changed my mind so much. I got invested much more in those 3 games after reading this, but it puts words on some very abstract things occurring in those games, and I really recommend it if you're a fan of those crazy masterpieces.
While we wait for JK's credits here, I guess I'll talk about some of the things that kind of made Eco stand out for its time when this game first came out.
Let's do this.
So a lot of times now when people play Eco, especially in my case where everybody's like, oh, this is Pete's favorite game of all time, it must be amazing, right? Because my tastes are similar to his, and they play it and they're like, huh, that was kind of disappointing. Like, some people just can't unfortunately get into Eco, and I totally understand that, but you have to remember, you have to place yourself back in 2001. You look at this game now and you see what this game is doing with camera angles, environments. I like to call them environmental puzzles, right? A lot of games back then were doing this sort of like, okay, this is the very obvious ledge that you need to grab. This is the very obvious path through this area. Whereas Eco, you're in this super atmospheric place, and at the time, the ledges were not super obvious, right? I remember being blown away in the first or the second room in the game when you enter, right? The chain room, where the chain is hanging and there's a window. And just the way that the camera was dynamically changing as Eco was climbing the chain, and the sounds of the fire and the way the chain was swaying back and forth with the physics.
The sound
Just-
design, you mentioned sound design.
Yeah.
Huge.
And the thing about sound design too is this game has almost no music. It's almost entirely based off of environmental
As
sounds.
the three of them, The Last Guardian has the most, the most present, but Shadow of the Colossus with the aggro crossing the lands with no music is the same thing. The sound design is here again minimalistic, cross immersive. There is just a few elements you can count all the sound design inputs or the everything in the creation of those games, and it gets you into it so much. No superficial details or anything like this that could make you out of it. Yeah, awesome. And the few music you have, you just enjoy them so much.
From sound design to the camera work, right?
Yeah.
Like just the way that you transition through that initial window and then it instantly drops you down into a really, really high vertical room with a high camera. Just the way that the game handled sweeping cameras, cinematic views, and the way that you interact with the environment. I can't reiterate, right? So let's bring it back to the cage room when you're climbing the spire and you reach the top and you see Yorda for the first time. I remember just being enamored with the fact that the game expected me to look around my environment and notice that one of the windows was missing like its cage window, like you can climb out the window. I just remember looking at that and I'm like, oh my word, this is incredible, the way that this game is encouraging me to interact with the environment itself without like, yes, the game has obvious switches and boxes, but like those moments where you're going through pieces of the environment that you normally wouldn't, like the windmill section, right? Like it's not super obvious where to climb that thing. You have to kind of like find that little broken piece of cement on the side and climb up that. It's just things like that really made this stand out for the time.
It's absolutely awesome. We can find there are so many aspects we can mention, and that book is like trying to reunite everything, most of those aspects, and how maybe we're in the middle between a video game product and a piece of art. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And Dark Souls was mentioned, and I think it's a very good example because Miyazaki, the creator of Dark Souls series, mentioned ICO so many times, even if we just don't think the relation between the Souls and ICO is like not very clear at first, but yeah, it is because of the sound design mostly, and so many aspects, and the minimalism, do you say tangibility of the world, or it exists in a way. For example, your character will bonk on a wall. There are animations dedicated to little details like this to, as you said, make the interaction with everything, with the space, with the 3D environment, just so awesome. And I do think that ICO still have so many things to provide, even nowadays, to the industry. When we see that very successful remake of Shadow of the Colossus, I think it could be even more powerful doing like ICO on PS5 or something like this, and it will never destroy the for those who wouldn't agree with that idea of a ICO remake. You can still play the PS2, PS3, of course, but I think it would be very relevant even nowadays for the market, for the video game industry.
We can only hope that they would. Bluepoint would give ICO the same treatment as Shadow of the Colossus.
Bluepoint rumors were very close to it, but it turns out to be, and I kind of was sure it was going to be Demon's Souls. But maybe someday Bluepoint will come back on with a game because Sony has the rights, and we'll have our ICO with ray tracing.
Heck, we'll take a digital version. Just release it digitally. We'll take it. We'll take anything. But yeah, something else was brought up in chat, and Brand New is doing a great job of sharing an example of this. But as was mentioned, the interconnectivity of the world of ICO is sort of profound for its time, and so no other games are doing this. Where you're right. This was when I did my first playthrough at ICO, and I'm sure it was the same thing for everybody else and subsequent playthroughs. I would just spend time to stand at ledges and look around and just see how connected the castle was, because you can see parts of the world as you're exploring, and you're like, oh my goodness, I remember I remember being over there 2 hours ago, and then you'd look off in the distance and you see something, and you're like, oh wow, that looks interesting. And then you find yourself there, you know, a couple hours from now, and you're like, oh, like, see what Brand New's doing right now. He's looking down at the Waterworld section, which you'll find yourself in later in the game, you know? So it's like just amazing connectivity of the world of Eco. So much thought put into the layout of this place. It's not, that's the thing about Eco. It's not just like a set of boxes of levels like strewn together. It's a 2-scale castle where everything is connected together. So if you know, if you traveled like a mile running with Yorda from one place to another, that place, when you look out in the distance, is going to be really far away. It's not, you know, everything is 2-scale.
That's an important aspect, the way the castle is made, and with the technical resources we had with the PS2, it's absolutely... I have no words, it's crazy the way you definitely, after playing even once to Eco, you definitely understand how the castle is made, and you just can feel it. And because here, when we got this camera, we can see parts of it, and the left and right side is totally made for it. Well, it's kind of messy what I'm saying, but let's say the restrictions, technical restrictions you have can bring creativity, and that's another very important thing Fumito Ueda said, and most of the game creators and any artist, I would say, the limits of the medium allows you to have some creativity and inject it to it. And here the way they handled this like a 3D big modelization, counting on the player's mind to make it, it's crazy. And this camera is one of the only ones I know, maybe the only one, to allow you to look basically Eco is centered, the character is centered in the screen, but you can also look away from it and look on your own. It's like if we were in the castle with Eco, basically it's following him, but you can decide to look all the surfaces, all the aspects, and everything is so well done. You can understand the architecture so clearly. This is, absolutely...
Yeah, because they allow you to pan the camera around, which at the time also was incredibly different from when Eco came. It's actually one of the biggest complaints with the game. I find that when people play Eco, the one thing, the major complaint for people that just weren't really feeling it, or even liked it and had a complaint, is the camera. And I totally get that, because it's certainly a camera that is sort of a product of its time. It's not something that you really see too much anymore in games for certain reasons. But Eco, I think, pulls it off to the best of its ability. And despite the sweeping cameras and everything, like you're still able to control Eco for the most part pretty reliably. Obviously, in a speedrun, you're never giving yourself time to really stop and correct the camera. But if you're playing casually, if you're patient with it, it does a pretty good job. And it looks like JK here is actually coming up on the beach cutscene. So let's see what his time is here. Still a very impressive run, by the way, for JK. Want to remind people, he transitioned from the PAL version to this version, which, you know, this is like 50% more of the game that normally he was not doing in the PAL version. So for a first run, this was very impressive.
So what was it? I didn't see exactly.
Like a 2:14:15-ish.
I saw something like 12, but I'm not sure. And a big GG to JK to his run was the most special, I would say. And very entertaining. And thank you, everyone. I think we can switch it off here. The timer is still flowing, but thanks everyone for following this event. Be sure to follow the runners. You've got everything you need on the chat. Thank you again for the commentary, Pete.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And see you all later. Thanks.